last thing I said, I heard from them, they said, oh, maybe October. But I don't think it's gonna be October.
No,
It's gonna be next year, I think.
So since then, are we still doing the last part of Sambutsuge?
No, at the end of Sambutsuge, we'll go straight to Jusei Ge.
Okay.
So no Nembutsu, no Ekoku,
Okay.
until
So
after
straight- just
Jusei
go
Ge.
straight to that. Okay. So
Okay.
But you said at the end is, he's supposed to hit the gong one time.
Sambujo at the end, one, and then I read the Hyobyakumon, and then he'll do his crescendo, 1, 2, then Sambutsuge.
Okay.
And then at the end of Sambutsuge, 1 bell, and then Jusei Ge. We should practice Shishinai, huh? You guys ever hear Shishinai?
Done what?
Instead of Sambujo, have you ever heard the Shishinai?
No.
we might have that.
It's on page 29. I mean, we won't do it today, but we should put it into the mix here. That should be boo, not foo. I don't know, maybe it's foo. I don't know. I'll have to check the original.
Never done that one. It's nice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of practice though, huh? On that one.
Yeah. So, but it, we should put it into the mix because you guys are, got Sambujo down. So do the Shishinai. Tomorrow, no, Monday, I'm doing a recording with ministers from the Northwest, from Southern, from all over, doing a service, Obon service. That I think it's the one that they're going to use on August 18th for the virtual Obon, for BCA.
Mm.
So I'll be chanting that Shishinai.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start rolling the publish.
Okay.
For James,
James Collins.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, at least it's not, yeah, I'll mute this, next.
She's saying she can hear us.
Yeah, it's live now.
So when you do the kansho, when he does kansho, Bill, we can kind of close that door.
Okay.
Or I can get the door.
Well, I gotta be over there anyways. It's where we come in from, so.
So I guess, I think I've shut off the mic. But it's, the camera's live.
How much she heard. Good thing we weren't talking about it.
The other one, I put it up, but they told me really don't need it, it's just that, you know, just a flare.
She's sleeping. Their president do something stupid last night, oh shoot, never mind. This is August, Shotsuki Hoyo, tomorrow's Watsonville's Shotsuki Hoyo. Then next Sunday, Selena's Shotsuki Hoyo.
You're stoned?
Yeah. I hope it doesn't pick up the mic.
I thought there was a truck pulling in.
At the end, I'll put on some music just to
Oh,
fill that empty space.
yeah, yeah, that's good. I think if we get a longer cable, the HDMI, and maybe a black one,
Uh-huh.
make it around.
Yeah, it wouldn't look so,
Yeah.
that silver one is, sticks
Well,
out.
even if it were silver, if it was longer, and drop it straight down and then bring it along the floor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah, that's for, you know, projector.
Mhm.
So like you put your laptop there and the projector
Oh,
on there.
okay.
So, for a while I had the camera on this one,
Uh-huh.
you know, but if we're swiveling, then,
What's that?
you know, it needs to be up a little higher.
Mhm. I got 1 minute.
Okay.
I got 1 minute.
So I'm gonna turn on the sound.
Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the month of August. Today is August 1st, and we are observing here in Monterey, the Monterey Peninsula Buddhist Temple, August Shotsuki Hoyo. I would like to say that I'm pleased in a guarded way that I see progress in our world. Although it may be hard to see, I do see progress. I see defunding and different funding for different cities. I see a heightened sensitivity and awareness of the struggles of many minorities in our country. And so I am pleased that we are making some progress. Today we're observing our, as I mentioned, the Shotsuki Hoyo, our memorial service here in Monterey. But I also want to remind people that this month is the month in which the atomic bombs were dropped in the city of Hiroshima and the city of Nagasaki, Japan. And so today's memorial service will also acknowledge and honor all of those people who died in that horrific atomic bomb blast. And just later I'll make announcements about activities that are taking place in our areas in commemoration of those two events. I'd like to remind everybody at home to please open up your butsudans, to light a candle, and be prepared to burn incense during the chanting. I'd like to now call on our minister's assistant, Mr. Bill Wurtenberg, to share with us an opening reading.
Please join me in Gasho. The Buddha on the 8 worldly winds. Praise and blame, recognition and disregard, gain and loss, pleasure and sorrow come and go like the wind. Rest like a giant tree in the midst of all of them. Namo Amidaos.
Namo Amidaos.
Namo Amidaos.
Namo Amidaos.
Namo Amidaos.
Namo Amidaos. Thank you, Bill. And now I'd like to remind everyone that on our website, we do have the PDF version of our large purple service book. And there you can open that up and join us in the chanting of Sutra. This morning we'll begin with the Sambujo. And the Sambujo can be found on page 23 of that large purple service book. This will be followed by a dedication reading called the Hyobyakumon. And then we will continue the sutra chanting with the Sambutsuge, which you'll find on page 77. And at the conclusion of the Sambutsuge, we will then begin the chanting of the Jusege, which is on page 91. Namandavas, 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 namandavas. Today, on this occasion of the Monterey Peninsula Buddhist Temple August Shotsuki Hoyo, the members of the Sangha have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved family members. We also acknowledge today those who died on August 6th in Hiroshima, Japan, and August 8th in Nagasaki, Japan. With deepest reverence and thankfulness, with the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kia Butz, Namo Kia Ho, Namo Kia So, Namanos, Namanos.
Open your eyes.
너다즈 이사이 지토 라이셔 신레스 쇼저 이토가 도그 게라그 안남 어브 신여세가 신셔 어스간너 히리기 쇼셔여 예포세선 지엠흑에 절여 시선 시가 신격 계려 신시 저그덕주 강여 쇼진 인주급회 악원저생한 이심을저도 시간법만서 세부저쇼가 나홈을영아 의다이세시 의사이쇼빙 세부조쇼가 가시저부스도 여쇼저지포 극염이쇼몬 세부조쇼가 이역진쇼네 여외슈봉여 시금의저도 이쇼텐닌시 진리기엔다이고 의쇼무사이도 쇼저상금여 허사이슈야그난 아이지에겐 메시건너안 에이소그쇼아그도 스다트센슈몬 어서조만섭 이여러제포 니치가스슈즈키 땡거펑그겐 이주가이호소 호세그노그호 저호다이슈즈 세포시시그 그여기사이붓 그속으슈더그혼 단내시스저만 더그이상가요 여부스무게지 스다츠미 부쇼 강가그에리 도시사이쇼선 시간야코카 다이센오칸도 거그쇼텐닌 거진요게 여 Namandas, 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 Namandas. Thank you very much. And now, once again, in our large purple service book, on page 216, we have the Gatha Shinshu Shuka. If you please rise. Technical difficulties. This is not right again. Sorry. Sorry.深き実りに相まつる身の幸なりにたとうべきひたすら道よきやきまとのみむねいただかんわの闇より救われし身の幸なにに比べき六時の皆を唱えつつ世のなりわいにいそしまん海の内とのへなてなくみよやの徳の尊さを我が腹からに伝えつつ御国の旅を共にせん。Thank you very much. And now, if you'll please turn to page 10 and join our minister's assistant, David Correa, in the reading of the Threefold Refuge.
Difficult is it to receive a human form, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Thus with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become in units and true accord and harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much. Once again, I'd like to ask you all to please join me in Gasho. Having entrusted ourselves to the teaching of Namo Amida Butsu, we experience the joy of having received the assurance of Buddhahood. From the constant gratitude that arises within, we shall strive to live in service to the community and humanity. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Thank you very much. Once again, good morning, everyone. It's nice to see our minister's assistants here, David and Bill, helping out. Also, I want to acknowledge and thank Larry Oda of the Monterey Peninsula Buddhist Temple for assisting in today's live streaming service. As I mentioned in the very beginning, this month we are observing the August Shotsuki Hoyo, or memorial service. And I'm sure if you're like me, it's really hard to imagine that here we are in August already. It's been since March, April, May, June, July, and now this is the 6th month in which we are finding ourselves still having to wear the masks, having to keep socially distant, staying in our homes, and being quite lonely, I think, in this whole process. And in some ways we get used to it, but in other ways, you know, that being able to see people and communicate with people and socialize with people is really missed. I know I miss that. And so having services like this with just a handful of people is the best way that we can do it, but it's still very difficult. So I was thinking about Obon as I was getting my talk prepared for today. And this is would be the ending of our traditional Obon season here in America. Last week, we would have all gathered in Salinas for their Obon. The week before that, we would have been in Watsonville. And the week before that, we would have been here in Monterey to celebrate Obon. And typically this weekend, I find myself going over to the Palo Alto Buddhist Temple and celebrating Obon there at their temple. So I wanted to ask everybody a question out there, and of course, if you answer, I can't hear you, but here's the question. How many of you missed Obon? Really missed the festivities of Obon? If you're like me, you probably really missed it. And now, I'm going to ask you, how many of you missed all the work that is put into Obon? And probably many of you are going, no, I don't miss that part, but I miss the festivities of Obon. And I know that every year, at the end of Obon festivals, people are very tired. They've worked over a period of a week to get everything ready, and I know that everybody is tired. And we think to ourselves, so much work has been put into our Obons. I'm so tired of all the work. And at the same time, we're thinking, now, oh, I really miss Obon, but I don't miss the work, but I miss Obon. You know, we're sort of conflicted here because the two go hand in hand in a way, because it's so much to prepare for Obon, and yet It's so much work, it tires us out. Now here we are thinking, oh, I miss Obon. We didn't have Obon this year. So I had a chance to watch some virtual Obon on the computer. I watched Seattle, Orange County, San Jose, and Mountain View. And they were all very different. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched portions of it. And they did a very nice job of putting together this virtual Obon with dancing, food demonstrations, different things, including games. And I must admit, it's not the same, but it did bring to me a sense of Obon and the Obon season. And everybody looks at Obon differently, right? I think for us who are intimately connected to temples, we know how much work goes into putting on an Obon. Those who may not be as connected look at it as a time to volunteer at the temple and help out on one of our major fundraisers. Others who come just for the festival say, oh, it's a wonderful festival. Then there's those of us who are, again, more connected to the temple, who will understand that this is an important memorial. Again, some will see the great food, some will see the beer and the sake that's served and all the drinks. Some will take advantage of the demonstrations and the colorful gaiety of Obon. So it's many different views of the same thing that is occurring on that day. So not long ago, a good friend of mine, Reverend Jerry Hirano, Salt Lake Buddhist Temple, and other temples out there in that area that he takes care of, he asked me about what the Japanese term is for the 4 views of water. Okay, I had used this in a sermon while I was in Salt Lake City a few years ago, and he wanted the Japanese term for it. So I was racking my brain, but I couldn't think of the Japanese term. And then, while sitting down thinking about today's talk, the term came into my mind. It's called Isui Shiken. Isui means one water, or a single bit of water, and Shiken means 4 views. Now, Buddhism teaches us that we cannot see the truth clearly because our mind is always confused by our blind passions. We can only see things as perceived through our own convenience, our own knowledge, our own judgment. Therefore, our eyes alone, they cannot see the unvarnished truth of what is occurring before us. This is what this term Ishu Shiken, or 4 views of one water, means. So we look at Obon very differently, depending on who you are, how you're involved in it, how you participate in it. It's all different views of the same thing. And as an example, we might see, so this term Isui is one water. So we might see water as something that quenches our thirst, that gives us sustenance, that we like to drink. For a fish, water has a whole different meaning. It's their home. It's what gives them life. For the fishermen, it's a source of livelihood. For a surfer, it's a place of recreation. So water can be very calming, or it can be very scary. You know, if you're in Florida right now on the East Coast, you've got a hurricane coming towards you, and that is water that's being thrown up onto the coast, and it can be very scary. It can also be very serene and calming, but it can be violent. So each of us looking at that same body of water, look at it differently. This means we see rain as either gloomy or beautiful. This means we can look at a person and like them or dislike them. Buddhism teaches us that we can neither see nor think about anything without our self-centeredness. Human nature is such that we cannot help but make judgments that things are convenient for us and are good for us then it's okay. And those things that are inconvenient for us, we consider bad. In truth, all things are just being as they are. But we make judgments of ugly, beautiful, scary, good, and bad. All events are the same, including birth, old age, sickness, and death. Now, those of us who are fortunate enough to encounter the light of wisdom of the Nembutsu, we are shown this true and real world. Many times this comes in the form of a great change in our life. We don't want it to happen. It's unexpected, but changes occur. And that change upsets our whole life and our expected hopes, our expected dreams for our life are suddenly disrupted. We are shown life in the world as it truly is. And only because we want to see the world our way do these events become difficult. So we're observing August Shotsuki Hoyo memorial service. What that means is that there's a lot of families who are tuning in, I hope, that saw their names on this list, who've lost loved ones. And this touches everybody's life. Everyone who has lived for a little while experiences loss. We are being shown the truth of life by the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. If you are worried about your health, if you're worried about your job, if you're worried about your school or your relationships, by opening your hearts and minds to Namo Amida Butsu, it gives the power to move forward and the power to overcome difficulties. We will always miss our family members. We will always miss our friends, our parents, and others. We miss not being able to gather together and enjoy Obon. However, this gives us a moment to begin and see the world clearly through the eyes of truth. As we observe Shotsuki for the month of August, we will all look at the same event with different eyes. We will hear the words and hear them with different meaning and significance. But with the eyes of truth, we can take a moment here and now to express gratitude for our family members, for our friends, our parents, and others who are revealing to us this truth of life. And with that, I thank you for tuning in, and I also want to extend my feelings towards everyone who's observing their Shotsuki Hoyo in this month of August. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. Once again, I'm going to invite our minister's assistant, David Correa, to read the Gobunsho.
Shinran Shonin taught that the essence of Jodo Shinshu is Shinjin. The reason is that by abandoning all other practices and completely entrusting ourselves in Amida Buddha, our spiritual rebirth is assured by Amida to the inconceivable power of the primal vow. This is known as the entering the ranks of the truly assured at the very moment of Shinjin. Thereafter, all utterances of the Nembutsu should be understood only as expressions of gratitude for Amida's assurance of our spiritual rebirth. With reverence, I remain. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, David. And now I'd like to ask you all to please join me in the Ondok-san 2 on page 220 of the large purple service book.
Yo
Namo Amidavos.
Namo Amidavos.
Namo Amidavos.
Namo
Namo
Amidavos.
Amidavos. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, before we close today's service here in Monterey, I have a few announcements I'd like to make. The first is that tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, if you would like, you can tune into the August Shotsuki Hoyo service at Watsonville Buddhist Temple, and that will be on their YouTube site. And then on Wednesday, August 5th at 3:30, we'll be streaming live through the Watsonville site the ringing of the Bonsho there at the temple. We'll ring it at 4:15. It'll be preceded by a short service, memorial service, and then we'll ring the Bonsho, the large bell, at precisely 4:15. And this will coincide with the 8:15 a.m. time on August 6th in Hiroshima, Japan, when the A-bomb dropped on the city of Hiroshima. And so you can join us virtually through this live streaming service, which will be on the 5th of August at 3:30, beginning at 3:30. And then on August 8th, which is the day that the bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, Larry Oda here at the Monterey Buddhist Temple and I will be participating in a memorial service, memorial gathering on August 8th at 7 o'clock, and that will be done through Zoom. And you can check the Monterey Peninsula website for access to that gathering on August 8th. And throughout the month of August, I'll be posting Dharma talks on Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. There'll be pre-recorded messages, so you can view them on our website, on our YouTube site, Monterey YouTube website. So that'll be through the month of August. And so our next live streaming service will probably be on September 8th, I believe which is the first Sunday after Labor Day. Okay. With that, I'm going to once again ask our minister's assistant, Mr. Bill Wurtenberg, to share with us a closing reading.
Please join me in Gasho. Today, more than ever before, life must be characterized by a sense of universal responsibility. Not only nation to nation and human to human, but also human to other forms of life. Namo Amidavos.
Namo Amidavos.
Namo Amidavos.
Namo Amidavos.
Namo Amidavos.
Thank you, Bill. This will conclude our August Shotsuki Hoyo service here at the Monterey Peninsula Buddhist Temple. Once again, I want to thank you all for listening in, and I want to acknowledge our minister's assistant, David Correa, and Bill Wurtenberg, and especially thank Mr. Larry Oda for being our technician today. I screwed up the music, but he did a great job on everything else. So this will conclude our services again today. Thank you so much. Please. Nam 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 Nam.